From city-leveling psychopaths to morally gray masterminds, the world of Invincible is crawling with villains that push its heroes to the brink. Mark Grayson's journey is shaped by enemies who don't just punch hard, they leave scars, twist ideologies, and sometimes they win. Let's dive into every major villain in Invincible, from the monsters to the manipulators. Dinosaurus. Dinosaurus isn't your standard supervillain. He's David Anders, a man who turns into a towering dino beast with a terrifying twist. He genuinely believes he's saving the world. His logic is simple and horrifying. Sacrifice millions to save billions. His eco-terrorist plans, including blowing up Las Vegas, flooding cities, and even convincing Invincible to help him. But when the casualties piled up, Mark had to end it. Dinosaurus may have had a noble goal, but his methods proved too deadly to ignore. Before we jump into the next villain, a real quick ask that if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to hit that subscribe button now. It's one click for you, but a huge deal for us. Thanks. Thrag. Thrag is what you get when you breed the perfect Viltrumite warrior and strip away every ounce of empathy. Cold, calculated, and utterly ruthless. Thrag rose to become the emperor of the Viltrumite Empire and nearly brought the galaxy to its knees. After the Viltrumite Civil War, he started breeding a new generation of hybrids, raising an unstoppable army with one goal: Conquest. His battles against Omni-Man and Invincible redefined brutal. Thrag isn't just a top-tier threat, he is a living extinction event. Robot. Rudy Connors began as a brilliant ally, coordinating heroes from behind a vat-grown body, but centuries in another dimension warped his ideals. When he returned to Earth, he overthrew Cecil, imprisoned Invincible in another universe, and seized control of the planet. Robot's utopia came at the cost of free will. His betrayal wasn't exactly born of malice, though. It was just logic taken to a horrifying extreme. Conquest. Conquest was not a challenge for Invincible. He was what broke him. An ancient Viltrumite, Conquest lived for war and humiliation. His first appearance left Adam Eve in critical condition, and Mark's face nearly caved in. Their rematch was even worse. His battles weren't fights, they were just trauma. Conquest embodies the darkest corners of Viltrumite ideology: cruelty, domination, and thrilling in pain. Angstrom Levy. Angstrom Levy was a genius who wanted to fix the world, until Mark sort of got in the way. After a multi-dimensional experiment destroyed his mind, Levy blamed Invincible for everything. He could jump across timelines, launching surgical strikes on Mark's life from alternate realities. His obsession grew so intense it warped space and time. Levy didn't want conquest, he wanted revenge, and he'd rewrite the multiverse to get it. Battlebeast. A walking bloodbath in fur and armor. Battlebeast is not a villain by ideology, he's just a force of nature. He lives only to find worthy opponents, and few survive that honor. His fight with Invincible nearly killed Mark. His war with Thrag left entire planets scarred. He doesn't hate heroes, he just doesn't care who dies in his quest for glory. In a world of agendas, Battlebeast is terrifyingly pure. Omni-Man. Mark's father, the galaxy's most dangerous spy, Omni-Man shattered the Guardians of the Globe in a few seconds, and then beat his son half to death. But unlike other Viltrumites, Nolan changed. He turned on his own empire, chose love over loyalty, and spent years trying to make things right. Even so, his legacy of destruction casts a shadow over every page of Mark's life. The Mauler Twins. Hyper-intelligent brutes with a cloning habit and no sense of moderation. The Mauler Twins are equal parts mad scientists, tank, and comedy duo. Whether building androids or cloning Rex, they oscillate between villainy and reluctant assistance. Their uncertain identity, never quite knowing which one's the original, adds a weirdly tragic touch to their chaotic presence. Titan. Titan started as a sympathetic enforcer, just a guy trying to escape poverty and protect his daughter. When he asked Invincible to help overthrow Machine Head, we rooted for him, but once he seized control, he didn't stop. Titan evolved into a ruthless crime boss, just as corrupt as the man he replaced. His rise wasn't about villainy, it was a commentary on power, and how it changes people. Machine Head. A mob boss with a processor where his brain should be. Machine Head blends cold logic with old-school crime. He's not a fighter, but he hires the best. His ambush on Invincible with Battlebeast and a mercenary squad was one of the bloodiest fights in the series. He's the kind of villain who never swings a punch, but still makes sure heroes leave in pieces. Anissa. Anissa is the epitome of Viltrumite ideology, superior, entitled, and pitiless. She sees Mark's compassion as weakness, and proves it in the most violent way imaginable. Her assault on him is one of the darker points in the story, forcing both Mark and readers to confront the horror of unchecked power and the illusion of control. She's unforgettable and unforgivable. Komodo Dragon. A savage bruiser with reptilian strength, Komodo Dragon serves as the Lizard League's muscle. He isn't complex, he's violence and scaly. But paired with the other League members, he becomes a serious threat, tearing through walls, soldiers, and even powered heroes. He's not here to monologue, just to tear things up. King Lizard. The Lizard League's delusional leader. King Lizard thinks he's a revolutionary. In reality, he's a domestic terrorist with a reptile fetish. But don't laugh too hard, his attacks on government infrastructure caused real damage. He leads with cult-like fervor, inspiring fanatics to follow him straight into chaos. For all this absurdity, his kill count is no joke. Magmaniac. A molten monster who radiates heat and hate. Magmaniac is the League's living WMD. He melts steel like butter and turns battlefields into blast furnaces. Not one for strategy, but when it's time to destroy, he's the one you point at the wall and unleash. His power alone makes him impossible to ignore. Furnace. Furnace is exactly what happens when Iron Man becomes an arsonist. Clad in advanced heat armor, he incinerates enemies with thermal blasts and high-pressure fire streams. He's not a subtle guy, and that's kind of the point. He overwhelms with raw, concentrated fire. His brief appearances leave a scorched impact that's hard to forget. Tether Tyrant. Tether Tyrant looked like a C-lister with bondage tentacles, until he got scary. His living restraints can crush tanks or pin superhumans in place. Originally a comic relief character, he's evolved into a tragic figure during the prison break, sacrificing himself to save a fellow inmate. In a show about survival, his death reminded us that even small villains can earn big respect. Kursk. Armed with electrical manipulation and a mean streak, Kursk is more mercenary than Madman. He's been hired to kidnap, assassinate, and sabotage. Never top tier, but always a problem, especially when paired with tech or backup. His pragmatic cruelty and tactical brain make him one of the smarter minor villains in the rogues gallery. Isotope. Isotope doesn't look dangerous, but his teleportation makes him one of the most valuable assets in the criminal underworld. He works for Titan as a precision tool, an extraction expert, surprise attacker, and getaway master. He rarely throws a punch, but his presence can shift the tide of a battle by simply moving pieces at the worst possible moment for the other heroes. Octoboss. An aquatic villain with cybernetic enhancements and tentacle arms. Octoboss feels like he wandered in from a weirder cartoon, but in Invincible, that doesn't make him harmless. His gang causes mayhem in harbors and labs, and his look alone makes him memorable. He's more punchline than powerhouse, but even punchlines can leave a bruise. Universa. Universa comes from another dimension with one goal: conquer Earth. She believes humanity is wasting the planet's resources and wants to take control for the greater good. Her invasion is brief but chaotic, and her tech makes her a serious threat. Even if she does underestimate Earth's defenders, she's a reminder that not all villains are going to come from the same place. Killcannon. With a name like Killcannon, subtlety's kinda off the table. He's basically a walking laser turret, blasting anything in his way with high-energy weapons. He's not smart, and he's not a strategist, but if you're within range, you're in trouble. Most of his appearances end with him flattened, but the destruction he causes beforehand earns him a spot on the list. Death Lizard. Another Lizard League bruiser, Death Lizard adds bulk and fury to their coordinated attacks. He's rarely alone. He fights best as muscle for the cause. His rage and brawler tactics make him less refined than Komodo Dragon, but no less dangerous. He exists to tip the scales with brute force. General Kregg. General Kregg is a high-ranking Viltrumite who enforces the Empire's will with deadly efficiency. Unlike Thrag, he lacks ambition, but his loyalty makes him terrifying. He's not subtle, just swift and brutal. When the Empire needs something crushed, they send Kregg, and he delivers. Doc Seismic. An ex-professor turned volcanic terrorist, Doc Seismic believes the surface world has failed, and that society must be rebuilt underground with him as its fiery messiah. He commands magma beasts and wields seismic energy with destructive flair. Laughable at first, Doc's cultish ambition and elemental powers earn him a spot among Invincible's more memorable B-tier threats. Biplane. Biplane is a relic, an old man in a World War-era flying suit who somehow keeps showing up to cause chaos. He's not powerful, but he is tenacious and oddly respected in the villain community. His tragicomic persistence turns him into a kind of mascot for failed villainy. He may never win, but he will never quit. Elephant. Elephant is exactly what he sounds like, a guy in a giant elephant-themed power suit who charges headfirst into conflict. He's often played for laughs, but that suit packs some serious durability. He's been clobbered by multiple heroes and still gets up. Not smart, not subtle, just big. Mr. Liu. At first glance, Mr. Liu seems like a crime boss stereotype, but when he transforms into a hulking dragon, things escalate fast. A holdover from the more bizarre corners of the comic, Liu's dual identity as man and mythological monster adds fantasy chaos to an already sci-fi heavy world. His violent arc pits old-world mysticism against Invincible's high-powered reality. The Flaxans. Not a single villain, but a recurring alien threat. The Flaxans invade Earth multiple times, aging rapidly due to time dilation. After adapting, they become a formidable force, nearly conquering cities before being pushed back. Their persistence and evolving tech make them one of the most dangerous swarm enemies in the series. Well, almost. The Sequids. A hive-minded parasitic species capable of body-snatching and planetary control. When they infect astronauts and take over Mars, Earth narrowly avoids catastrophe. The Sequids blur the line between biological horror and alien invasion. Their quiet spread and devastating potential make them one of the series' most existential threats, even if they do appear infrequently. Face Eater. Face Eater is one of those villains whose name kinda tells you everything. A grotesque, unpredictable monster used as an assassination tool during prison breaks. He doesn't scheme or monologue, he lunges and eats faces. His grotesque appearance and instant lethality make him a walking jump scare in a world already packed with violence and gore. Scourge Virus. Not a person, but an engineered Viltrumite killer virus that devastated the Empire. Created as a last-ditch weapon, it mutated and nearly wiped out Mark's entire lineage. While not sentient, it acts as a villainous force that reshapes the power balance of the galaxy and forced the Viltrumites to evolve or die. And those are all the villains in the Invincible storyline. What are your thoughts? Which one's your favorite? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss these deep dives and strange lore. We'll see you in the next video.